If fear is the only thing stopping us from achieving our dreams, and we only fear what we don't understand, then the antidote to fear is knowledge. All we have to do is find out who has the knowledge that we need to conquer our fears and achieve our entrepreneurial dreams. My name is Callum Walker, and welcome to the podcast that will help you figure it out and conquer this lonely entrepreneurial journey.
So now I walk, and I really want to kind of push out to why this is called the Figuring It Out podcast and what figuring it out really means. There's a very, very clear reason as to why I named it this. And really it's because it's been the mindset and the mentality that I've been able to adopt, which has allowed me to thrive, have success, grow, evolve, and also overcome my own limiting beliefs, my own challenges, difficulties that come with this incredibly challenging journey. As I'm sure that you're completely aware that this is a unique journey, unlike no other. I can't remember who quoted it. I remember who quoted it. So a guy called Steve J. Larson quoted that entrepreneurship is the ultimate course in self-development. You will learn a lot about yourself, being an entrepreneur, running a business, and you have to learn a lot about yourself because you have to grow, you have to evolve as a person in order to be able to deal with the challenges that come your way. It's an incredibly challenging journey, but it's also an incredibly rewarding journey. I think what I really want to share with you is the number one mindset and the number one thing that has really kind of allowed me to have that unwavering, unbelievable faith in myself and my ability that I will figure it out. Figure it out? Yeah, I will figure it out. Because I also find that, especially when it comes to running a business, sometimes you really have to enter into it with absolute blind faith that this thing is going to work. That unlike when you're working in a job where you're guaranteed income, you have absolute uncertainty as to how much money is going to come into your account tomorrow, how much money is going to be in your account next month. You don't have that certainty. And most people can see that and run away from it. They see it in a sense of fear, which I understand. Whereas actually, if you flip it on its head and go, that means I don't have a limit to the amount of income that I can actually earn. And I find that is the number one mindset that determines those who are successful versus those who aren't successful in this entrepreneurial journey. It's seeing that you actually have the power to be able to create your own path and be able to live your own destiny. And I think really the mindset that has allowed me to have that unbelievable faith, because there's going to be times when you really, really are just clouded with absolute pure self-doubt. You'll be paralyzed by fear. And the only thing that you can actually hold on to escape that prison of fear and that prison of doubt that paralyzes you is faith, is belief. And you're believing in something that there is absolutely no physical evidence that it's going to work. And the thing that has allowed me to be able to have that faith, to have that belief, is this mindset of, I will figure it out. And I think that, what I would love for you as a listener is to come up with your own definition of figuring it out. For me, figuring it out really means almost like I based it off the concept of modeling that Tony Robbins talks about, which is really around, if you want to go and do something, instead of trying to figure it out yourself, go and find someone who's already done what you want to do and model exactly what they did and apply it to your situation. So the way in which, I've been able to apply that is that I think I've been running a business online specifically for the past 3.5 years. I've been online, but I've been running a business for 7 years now. And I actually had the idea of going online back in 2017. I didn't actually go online until the back end of 2020. So I actually put off going online for 3 years. And the number one reason why I put off going online, even though I knew that being online would provide me with the freedom, that I'm not geographically limited from a marketing point of view. It'd be so much easier than having to go to all these networking events and sell and market in person. I could do it online. The number one reason I put it off was because I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how I was going to market. I didn't know how I was going to sell. So because I didn't know how to do it, I automatically said, I can't do it. Like, I can't do it. I can't go online. But that was actually fear. That was actually fear of failure, that, I'm going to fail because I don't know how to do it. And you know the thing that changed it all, was instead of me saying, I can't market, I can't sell it, I don't know how to sell it, I don't know how to market it. The thing that changed it was I switched it from that to, how can I market it? How can I sell it? And everything changed, because I then realized that the only two things that were stopping me from going online was my ability to sell it and my ability to market it. And sales and marketing are skills. Therefore, if it's a skill, I can learn it. But then also that there are people online who have made a success of running a business, who've been able to market it, who've been able to sell it. So why don't I just go and figure out how they did it? Find out who they are and learn exactly what they did, and then applied it to my situation. And everything changed. Literally, as soon as I opened up a book, the first book I picked up really on marketing was from Russell Brunson, his .com secrets book. But I actually can't remember how I got hold of that book. But I mean, to say it's changed my life is an understatement. I mean, I've loved the bloke 25 grand to be part of his coaching program, so it certainly has changed my life. But the minute I opened that book, it all made sense to me, because oh my God, I can actually figure this stuff out. Someone has done exactly what I want to do, and exactly what he was saying, that made sense. That made absolute sense. And that then gave me the confidence to be able to actually go and pursue an online business. And it also gave me the confidence that moving forward, I was then able to actually go right, any challenge, any difficulty that comes my way, I'll be able to figure it out. And I'll be able to figure it out because someone out there will have experienced the same challenge, the same problem. And I just need to learn exactly what it is that they did and acquire that information. And what I've really realized within my business is that I am not unique enough. And I don't believe any of us are unique enough to be experiencing a specific problem in business that no one else has ever experienced. Which then means that if I'm experiencing a specific problem, a specific challenge, if something's not working, someone else will have experienced that same thing. Which then means that someone else will have then overcome that problem and overcome that challenge and had success with it. So all I actually have to do is figure it out. And if I kind of look at my change in my business over the past 2 years, I've gone from, probably earning between 3 and 5 grand a month, working 60 to 80 hours a week, to being able to build a business over 100 grand with 6 hours delivery a week. So I've gone from 60 to 80 hours a week to 6 hours a week. And I've basically tripled my income. That's not to impress you. That's to impress upon you that if I can do it, you can. Because I promise you, there is nothing special about me apart from I'm just relentless. That I don't stop. That I don't stop in this pursuit of answers, this pursuit of acquiring knowledge, this pursuit of acquiring the information that will solve the problems and the challenges that I'm currently experiencing. So my point is that if I can do it, I promise you, you can do it. Because I was the dumb kid at school. Properly the dumb kid. I was in the bottom set at school, told I was never going to amount to much. So like I said, if I can do it, you can do it. And all I've done is just find out the people who've been able to achieve what I want to achieve, download their software, learn their skills, and then apply it to my own situation. And that's made all the difference. But more importantly, I look at my own growth, my own progress in my business. There have been so many times when I've wanted to just give it in, just give it up and be honestly, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. And one of my one of my favorite things that I always used to say to myself was, life would just be so much easier if I could just drive a bus. that if I could just drive a bus, I'd get on my bus, I'd do my route, I'd get home at 5, I'd kick back, have a beer, and know exactly that I could just spend the weekend going in the pub and just relaxing and escaping from the reality of the world. And sometimes that pops in my mind, and then I'm immediately hit with, my God, you would be bored within a week. And I come back to the number one thing that has allowed me to overcome all of these challenges, this self-doubt, and really build this blind faith. It's what I call my turbo time. So, and I'm sure you've probably heard the same sort of approach beforehand, but I used to spend far too much time working in my business as opposed to working on my business. And what I did about 2.5 years ago, I specifically scheduled in some time first thing in the morning to actually work on where I'm going as opposed to where I'm at. And that has made all the difference. That it started with like 20 minutes where I go, right, what's the primary problem and challenge that I'm experiencing that's stopping me from growing and moving forward? And always that was a piece of information that was missing that then needed to be implemented. So I would go, right, what's the primary problem? What's the primary challenge? Okay, it's a sales problem. So if it's a sales problem because I jump on a sales call and no one's actually buying any of my products, I can learn that sales skill. So then what I would do is I would go and find, right, okay, who's the number one salesperson? Jordan Belfort, The Way of the Wolf. The Wolf of Wall Street. He has a book, which is The Way of the Wolf. So I open that book, and that is him explaining how to become an amazing salesperson. So therefore, during that time, it started with 20 minutes. During that time, I would learn about sales. I would learn how to sell. And then when I learned how to sell, I then got better at selling, which then meant I started to make some more money, which then meant that I started to be able to kind of scratch out some more time, which then turned that session from 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And then that 30-minute session then became an hour, where now it's 5 hours in the morning, which then means every single day, I'd like to say Monday to Friday, but occasionally it creeps into my weekend. Every single day, I'm doing at least 5 hours working on where I'm going. That means that within a week, that's 25 hours a week that I have on everyone else. That's a whole day, a week, that I have over everyone else. That's 52 days a year that I have over everyone else working on where I'm going. And that's the power of this thing. That's the power of that mindset. And all I'm doing is going like, right, what's the primary problem and challenge at the moment? Okay, that means there's a solution. Who's most likely got that solution? What is it that they did? How can I apply that to my business? I'll figure it out. Does that make sense? So my point is, throughout this whole journey, you are going to have times where you doubt yourself, you are paralyzed with fear. And the number one thing that allows you to drive forward, despite having zero evidence that it's going to be a success, despite having zero evidence that your current circumstances showcase that your future is going to be profitable, is that I'll figure it out. That I know I will get to where I actually need to be. I know I will achieve what it is that I want to achieve because I know I will figure it out because I won't stop. I am relentless in the pursuit of the answers. So I hope that this podcast is as useful to you as other podcasts have been for me. I hope that you also really relate to my story, to my journey. I also want to lay this super clear from the get-go. This isn't going to be all sunshine and rainbows. The whole journey is hard, it's crippling, it's challenging. You're going to doubt yourself the whole way. And I promise you, I will share that. The one thing that I would hate this to be is all, everything is perfect and everything's amazing. I'm earning all of this money and you don't actually get anything from this. I'm going to share with you my challenges, my issues, and I'm also going to share with you exactly when I have doubt of myself, when I'm at the lowest of the low. That I'm going to show you that, look, other people are in that same boat. You're not alone. And I'm going to share with you exactly what I do to get out of that hole. Because I know I'm going to get in a hole at some point. It happens. But I also know that I will be able to get myself out of that hole. So I hope that this serves as a guide for you, a guide to this entrepreneurial journey that no one provides you with a playbook with. And again, I hope this doesn't just serve as a guide, but also if you are looking for any guidance, any support, any help, you feel alone, you feel almost like trapped in your mind that you're the only person going through this challenge, please always feel free to reach out to me. So I'm going to leave you. I really, really am incredibly grateful for you listening to this. I'm incredibly grateful for all of the people who not only do I get to call clients, but I get to call my friends, who've allowed me to do my life's work and really live out my purpose and be able to wake up every single morning with a sense of wonder, excitement, because I haven't got a clue what the day has got in store. But that's also thrilling because I'm the one in control as to where my life goes. And I hope that you can take that same approach. And I'm going to leave you on one thing. Never forget that if every single one of your clients gave you just one new client,